All right, so for those who may not be familiar with PureLink, we actually have a number of sub-brands to make you aware of. The first one in the list you see here is Media Access, and that is our flagship 4K 60 cross-platform matrix switching system. That is the only product of its type on the market that interchanges many different formats seamlessly uncompressed. So, and we also have frames anywhere from 12 in, 12 out, all the way up to 288 in to 288 out. So if you've got projects with, critical image quality and cross-platform switching, take a look at that. We also do Dante in this product, and we do multi-view and video wall. Pure Media is its older brother. That's a 4K 30 platform that's been around for over 20 years and is in a lot of mission critical military and government and emergency management applications, also cross-platform matrix switching. PureStream is what we'll be going over today. That's our AV over IP encoders, decoders, and cameras. We have network switches and Dante products. Icon is our award-winning control product, so please take a look at that. It's the world's easiest programmable enterprise control system. It actually uses human language as well as simple mouse clicks to create your programs. So it's making a big splash in the industry, so please take a look at that. HD Tools covers all of our extenders and test pattern generators, converters, scalers, smaller switches, presentation switches as well, and Total Wire covers all of our premium cable brands from Cat6 HD-Base-T certified cables to SDI, HDMI, DisplayPort, copper and fiber, 4K and 8K, really everything you would need in a professional AV environment. Also, PureLink's been around for a long time. We're approaching 25 years in the industry, and it's a company that was born out of engineers trying to solve problems. So back in 2002, when digital video was just really happening, PureLink brought to market the world's first DVI fiber extension cable, and then moved on to DVI matrix switching, and was the original pioneer of solving HDCP key management in matrix switches, as well as EDID emulation and management on large I/O matrix switching. So there's a lot of inventions from PureLink. We won't go through them all, but it continues, so please take a look at those on our website. And of course, I mentioned Best of Show, our Icon T10 control panel, which actually is just one of many in the Icon product line. So I strongly encourage you to come to the webinars on Icon. It's extremely easy to program. Things that take a lot of training and sophistication in brands like Crestron, AMX, QSYS, and so on are made way simpler in our easy language. So please sign up for those classes. We have lots of clients crossing many different markets: medical, entertainment, military, government, corporate, retail, home theater, Hollywood post-production, and it goes on and on. Okay, so let's get to the meat of it here. We're going to go over our AV over IP solutions, and I'm going to start with just kind of an overview, and then we'll get into the encoders and decoders. We've got a few things I want to point out. Number one is that when you deal with our encoder and decoder line, you actually have 4 different products that you can, quote, create out of those encoders and decoders. And the one that's actually the most overlooked is extension. Usually in AV over IP encoding, people are thinking of, a source to many displays or many sources to a display or so on. But you can actually create an extender with an encoder and decoder without even putting it on a network. And this is something I would strongly encourage you to seriously consider, because while you can do this with HD-base-T, what you can't do with HD-base-T is scale. And I can take that encoder and decoder and I can put it on a network, which you can't do with HD-base-T. And the major benefit of doing that is now I can grab diagnostic data from the encoder and decoder because it's now on the network, and I can query its information. The other thing that I can do is I can change its settings because it's on the network. So now if I have extenders going on a network, I now have this major additional advantage of adjusting them and also getting their current state. I also, by default, can double the distance I'm extending, because the extension capabilities is always point to point of the hardware. So if I put a network switch in the middle, I just doubled the ability of extension. And once it's on a network, now I can choose to add an encoder or a decoder, and I can either make distribution system or a switching system where I originally had an extender. So it's scalable at any point in time. And that's also true with a matrix system. I can turn an extender into many encoders and many decoders. Another advantage also is PoE. So I can power the encoders and decoders from the network switch and not have the need for local power adapters at the encoders and decoders. All right, so that kind of covers number two in a number of ways, flexibility and scalability, but that also means if I have a service need, I can just swap out one piece at a time instead of, if I had a HD-base-T based video switcher with multiple inputs or multiple outputs, I may have to swap the whole thing out. Here, I only have to just swap out whatever one piece might be the culprit. You can also build very large systems, and we have a lot of clients where we typically, are approaching triple digits as in terms of quantity of encoders and decoders in the system. So you could have 40 sources and 50 displays, or 60 or 70 displays, and you can really build very large systems with AV over IP. And it's important to note that that is on a 1G topology. All of our encoders and decoders work within 1G networks. When you get into SDVOE, you're not going to be able to move that kind of data rate around and have a high capacity of encoders and decoders. They just, the encoders in the SDVOE design use up a large amount of bandwidth on the network. And for those that argue that, the image quality is substantially better, I would recommend everybody do their own evaluation here. We've shown in shootouts of 1G product based on JPEG 2000 versus SDVOE, most content in practical use, you're not going to see a significant difference in quality, and in a lot of cases, you're not going to see a difference in quality. So it's really dependent on the content you're moving around, whether or not you're going to see anything. But one thing remains true no matter what is, if you need a dozen or more encoders on a system going to even one display or more, you're going to have a very difficult time doing that outside of a 1G topology. So enough of that. All right, number three, diagnostics and control. I talked about that when we talked about extenders, but it really is a significant add to be able to diagnose and control your endpoints. And you can do now system management, because a majority of our encoders and decoders not only report information about themselves, but they report information about your sources and displays. So if you think about that, I can use PureLink encoders and decoders to report information on my system. And so now you can either have or offer system management using PureLink's PureStream encoders and decoders. Okay, so that's a really important point. If you forget anything else I've said, that's a major value there. All right, so we offer drivers, of course, for our own Icon control system, Crestron, QSys, Savvy, and others. And if we don't have the driver, our API, our commands, are very simple. Most of the time, we're switching inputs and checking the settings, and we provide easy ways to do that. So if you ever need help or support in your control system design, we are set up to help you with that. Okay, last easiest installation and operation in the industry. We've been doing AV over IP since 2014. So that's actually more than 10 years because we launched it early 2014. So we've been doing this for over 10 years. And our design platform was simple installation and operation. And you're going to see that as we get into looking at the products in just a moment, because we pioneered channel selection in AV over IP. What that means is a lot of our competitors, they use multicast subscriptions. It's not the simplest way to do things, but it's simple if you don't want to do the work on providing the easiest interface for the customer. So for a manufacturer, it's easy to offer multicast subscriptions. It doesn't really put any work on a manufacturer, but what we did was we converted multicast IP addresses to channel numbers, so that the most common thing everybody's ever done in AV is change channels on a cable box or satellite or a TV. So that's how you work our products, and you're going to see that in a moment. We had pioneered pre-configuration services back in 2014, which means you order any size encoder decoder system and provide us with your IP addresses and channel numbers and host names and things like that. And at no charge, we configure your order, label everything, provide you a spreadsheet where the system is completely set up and could literally be just connected to a network switch, ready to go. So these pre-configuration services, every large integrator who has large IO AV over IP systems takes advantage of this. I would absolutely recommend that when you get around to ordering our AV over IP products, that you take advantage of that. It will definitely make your life much easier. Okay. All right, we're going to start out. We're going to basically go, newest, high end, and go down to the simpler stuff here. So at InfoComm this year, we introduced the VIP T450 encoder and decoder. This is a TAA compliant product that includes Dante IO connectivity. So not only do you have typical multicast AV transport, but you can also connect to Dante systems as well. So it does have 4K 60, 444 transport over JPEG 2000. This product offers both HDMI and USB-C inputs, switching, and USB 1.1 and 2.0 extension in addition to the USB-C. And you'll note I say DP mode, as I'm sure many of you know, that USB-C does not automatically mean video transport. You need to see in the specifications that the product supports DP mode, which we do. Okay, so you've got power over Ethernet. So these boxes do not require local power adapters, although we do provide that option if you choose or want to do that. We do offer fiber on the decoders. In practical use, you could have displays very far away from the network switch, so we do offer fiber, and in that case, you would need the local 12-volt power adapter. Okay, insertion of audio, so I can replace the original audio with a audio insert, and I can also de-embed that audio as well. I can do video walls and image rotation, and we also have a scaler on the decoders that allows me to either do pass-through of the incoming resolution, or I can lock the scaler to a certain output resolution. Another significant feature here, as you can see, matrix switching, we can do a very large number of sources and a very large number of displays. So if anyone's curious how on earth you can do 65,000 displays, technically you can do it. It may take a lot of network switches, but when you do certain class networks, it depends on how many IP addresses are available on that network. So if you design a network that supports 65,000 or greater IP addresses, then you could actually connect to that many displays. The reason why that's not really true with encoders is because they're the ones that load the network. The decoders in a way do have some load by pulling through the network switches, but ultimately you could have 65,000 displays looking at one encoder. So you're only sending, that encoder's bandwidth out onto the network. All right, layered switching. So this is an important feature. When you get the product, it sends all 5 signal types together. So if I switch, I'm switching video, audio, RS-232 infrared, and USB together, but I can break those out, and I can have my video routing independent of my audio routing, independent of my USB or IR RS-232. So it is possible to do that. And you may, for example, want audio from encoder 1 and video from encoder 2 to be combined onto decoder 1, and you can do that. Or you want to set your RS-232 layer so that the control system by encoder 1 is sending display commands to every decoder, and you don't want that to ever change regardless of video audio routing, you can also do that. All right, front panel diagnostics. So it depends on the model, but we'll have at minimum a number of LEDs that indicate, the status of inputs or connections to the network or links to its counterpart. So you'll see different topologies on some of these products, but like I had mentioned earlier, our API commands are very rich but simple. So if you just want to change channels on decoders, because that's 90% of what you wind up doing in operations, that's quite easy to do. If you want to check the status of your encoders and decoders, that's also very easy to do. If you want to check your incoming source resolution, we offer that. And if you want to check the information of your display, you can do that as well. And in fact, you can even grab the EDIT table from your display. So there's a lot of things you can get from that EDIT table. Okay, so that's the T450, again, 4K 60, TAA compliant with Dante connectivity. And then we have the T400. Now this is also TAA compliant 4K 60. We offer 2 different wall plates here, just HDMI with USB 2.0 or HDMI with USB-C alt mode, DP mode, input switching. So you can pick either one of those wall plates. I'll just tell you now that in 4K 60, there's no way to make a single gang wall plate. We tried, there's nobody who can do it because of the chipsets that are available on the market. That's as small as you can get. So I wanted to make sure I covered that. Now you'll notice on the T400, I have these digit displays. And this is what I had mentioned earlier about PureLink pioneering setting encoders as output channel numbers. We're really under the hood. What you're doing is you're setting a multicast IP address, but nobody wants to talk about, 192.168.1.1. You want to just say channel 1. And by the way, probably some of you caught me, that's not a multicast IP address. It would be 239 or 225 or something like that. But anyway, so the channel selection does a number of things for you. Number one, it makes it very easy to set up and operate, but it also means that you don't have to have a control system in some applications. So if you've got a small project where you just want a handful of encoders or decoders as an example, you can go up to the front panel of the encoder and set unique channel numbers and lock those encoders to those channel numbers. And then you just go to the decoders and you select the channel that you want the decoder to look at. So it now provides something that you wouldn't have in products like Crestron MVX or AMX or Extron or so on, is now I can offer AV over IP distribution or switching or extension without any control system as a requirement. Of course, there's going to be applications where the kind of functionality the customer needs, a control system will be a better add or option. And that's why, of course, we offer, our Icon control line, which would easily provide that with very, very little time on your part to prepare the control system, which means lower cost, lower bid, lower quote, lower cost of ownership, and so on. Please feel free to ask me anything as we go. You'll notice we do have audio insertion and extraction, RS-232 and IR extension. And again, it is PoE unless you're using fiber. And those are 1G SFP 2LC modules. And in our catalog, we have a lineup of 1G SFP multi-mode and single mode modules. So if you're doing extension over fiber of 1,800 feet or less, then you can use the multi-mode SFP modules. But if you need to extend to an encoder or decoder greater than 1,800 feet and up to, I think it's 2 miles, don't quote me on that, but it's a very long distance, then you would get the single mode version of the SFP modules from us. And you don't have to remember all this, just when you're ready to do your project, contact us, tell us what you're trying to achieve, and we'll make sure that you get the right SFP modules. And we also, of course, have in our catalog in the total wire all the fiber and cat cable you would need for the job. All right, the 400, this is a non-TAA version. It does not have any wall plates. It's just encoder decoder boxes. So it's just kind of a simpler, slightly less expensive alternative in 4K 60 transport. Other than that, it's extremely similar to the T400. It has many of the same, video wall, image rotation, locking scaler on the decoders, layered switching, audio insertion embedding, cat or fiber connections, HDMI loop out on the encoder, channel system, and easy command set. Okay, next one is our T300. This is TAA compliant. Again, you see the channel system. This is 4K 30. This has been around quite a long time, and it's in many 24/7, 365 critical missions. These are in military bases and emergency management systems. And again, this is just a 4K 30 version of everything we've looked at. This is actually one of our first products out years and years ago. So it's got a lot of field time. And you'll see many of the same features here: audio insertion, extraction, cat and fiber connections, PoE, video wall, image rotation, locking scaler, large IO count, layered switching, lots of front panel diagnostics, and of course channels set up if you don't want a control system, or the same API. And everything we've looked at so far is using the same API. So, once you code or learn, how to control any of the products we've looked at, they're all using the same API. Last one in this grouping is the 200. This was actually the very first product we introduced in 2014. It's TAA compliant. It does use the channel system, but this uses on-screen channels, not LEDs on the front. And by the way, all of the other products we looked at, it is possible to have both. So their default is channel numbers displayed on the boxes, but you can, through simple commands, put the channel numbers up on the screen along with lots of other data on the product. All right, so this is just a 1080p 60 version. And again, video wall image rotation, scaler, large I/O, layered switching, diagnostics, and simple API control. And again, all of these products will pre-configure for you, literally where you can drop them on a job site and plug them in and they run. And we have case studies on our website of integrators who have done that in large systems, including arenas, and we're extremely happy with the time savings and therefore cost savings. So again, no charge, we do that. All right, and then last up in the encoder decoder line is our 100 series. So this is a little different than the others. Those are all JPEG 2000 based, basically the same codec as Crestron MVX, by the way, even though they market it as pixel perfect, it's actually JPEG 2000. This is H.264. So the reason we offer this is because where JPEG 2000 excels in very low latency, it does use up, anywhere from, depending on a number of factors, 180 to 850 megabits of data per stream. H.264 has a much lower bandwidth. It's about 25 megabits per stream. So there's some cases where projects, applications, you need to really watch the bandwidth, but the trade-off is latency. H.264 tends to have latency upwards of 300 to 400 milliseconds. So that may sound like an alarming number, and in some applications it's not a workable number. But when you do not see the original content and the repeated content, that latency doesn't matter. You wouldn't know. And the other scenario is when you're not interacting with the content. So if you're not using it as keyboard mouse extension on a server, you wouldn't notice any lag, in the 200s or T300s and so on, because it's extremely low latency. But in H.264 you would, so we don't apply it there. And as you can see, we don't do any USB on this product for that reason. So this would be useful in distribution of content, maybe digital signage or fitness centers. We sell a lot of these to fitness centers, malls, arenas, where they're just repeating, content around the sports bars or so on. So this product has been, successful in those scenarios. Now, if you're doing things like iMag or live presenter, this would not, be the right choice, the other products we have. Okay, so that's our encoders and decoders. Now this is a different kind of streaming. This is streaming to what we call soft endpoints, although we do hardware as well, and I'll explain that in a moment. This is a very important product to think about. I can take any HDMI signal and stream it anywhere in the world. So it's basically a broadcast product. So an easy example here would be House of Worship, where on Sundays they might want to broadcast to YouTube or Facebook so people can watch the presentations. The nice thing about doing it this way versus all the other ways that are out there is that there's no subscriptions or licenses or fees. You just buy this piece of hardware one time and then you stream to YouTube or Facebook, and the stream can be done two different ways. One is when you apply power, just start streaming, or I can use the active button to either start or stop my streams. And we do also offer splash screen. So if you want to display a church logo or a broadcast logo of some type, corporate logo, you can stream that until the actual stream starts, and then it'll instantly kick over to the actual content. So we've seen this also used in a lot of other ways. So it'll give you, a chance to think about how you might use it. Again, fitness centers. We've seen these in training centers, and there's actually a very large Taekwondo organization that uses these to stream their classes to those who can't make it to the actual dojo site. There's corporate trainings that do it this way. There's just YouTube, broadcasters, Facebook broadcasters that use this. So there's many applications. You could use this for distribution of media or digital signage around a college campus or a medical facility. So lots of different applications. Well, one actually I just remembered is a manufacturing company uses these to distribute live data analytics of manufacturing through, their, I don't know what you call it, their data analytics, what they've produced that day around the different management facilities. So that's soft endpoints. You can do that over the network across the world, or you can do it internally. So if you have a software that decodes TS or RTP, RTSP streams, RTMPS streams, you can do that. So VLC player, OBS is another one. But there's also displays that accept these types of streams directly, like LG WebOS. So you could actually stream directly to LG displays around an arena or other types of facilities using this to stream any source. So you can hook up a broadcast switch, a video switcher, a media player, a camera, and so on. Okay, let's move on to Dante. So we have a number of Dante solutions. Some of them are specifically Dante, which I'm going to show you now. But as you saw, the very first thing I showed you was the VIP T450 with Dante. We have a couple other products like that I'm going to show you in a moment. So our DIO 1616 DSP, this takes 16 balanced analog ins and converts them to Dante digital audio and sends them out to the Dante network, but also provides full DSP of those signals. So I can do compression, AGC, EQ, feedback control, auto mixing, echo cancellation, and more using this product. So it's got full DSP per channel. And the same is true on Dante networked audio coming into this box, going through DSP and then coming out these analog outputs. We also have USB, so you can connect your laptop to this box and take it into Dante or vice versa. We also offer that in an 8x8, same exact functionality, just lower input-output count. And we also offer it in a 4x4. So you've got, 3 different IO count frame sizes to best match your application. If all of this is not quite what you need, then we also have these dongles. I can hook up this to my laptop and send 2 channels of laptop audio out to the Dante network, or I can take 2 channels of Dante audio and bring them into my laptop. Maybe I want to record or use that in like presentation. So there's a lot of different applications there. We also offer interfacing to the professional analog world. So maybe I want to take the output of an audio mixer and send 2 channels of it into a Dante network or a broadcast switch, I can use this dongle to take audio analog and convert it to Dante 2-channel out onto the network. And in reverse, I can take 2 channels of Dante audio, convert it to balanced analog 2-channel audio, and I can put that into a codec or a broadcast switch or an audio mixer. All right, so those are our specific Dante products. So that's 7 SKUs. I think I just showed you, or 6. Now we'll take a look at our PTZ cameras. So these cameras will stream directly onto the network. However, they do offer a multitude of connectivity. So while you can do that, you can also come out of these cameras SDI or HDMI and USB 3.0 in the case of the Cam 200. So this camera is powered PoE. It's got pro level optics and PTZ mechanisms. So we do consider this professional grade, not, consumer grade camera. 16x digital zoom combined with the 20x optical zoom gives you way more zoom than you'd ever need. And it's controllable through industry standard controls such as Pelco and Visca. You can do that RS-232 or LAN. It does come with a full function remote control. You can save many different presets and you can easily recall those presets. You can do that with the remote, or you can do it with a joystick controller, which we do have. And you have lots of professional grade settings like automatic exposure, automatic gain, RGB, white balancing, and a number of other image control features. So you can stream RTSP, RTMP, and NDI HX out of the camera. So the VIP Cam 200, that is our latest offering. The one that we've had for a while now is our 100 series. You see it goes down in digital zoom to 12x, still the same optics, the same PTZ mechanism, same control, same chipset. So all the automatic gain control, iris control, white balance, and so on. This does not have USB 3.0 like the 200, but it does have HDMI and 3G SDI, and of course you can stream out of the camera. Okay, and then the Cam 30, and this is only HDMI and USB 2.0 is in terms of physical outputs, but it does RTSP and RTMP streaming. There's no NDI in this. Again, same optics, same PTZ mechanism, but now we're only doing 8x digital zoom. So those are our 3 PTZ cameras. So we offer a program called Test Drive. We want you to feel confident in the product line. So we really encourage you to request an evaluation 30-day trial period of the product. Kick the tires, give us a call. We'll work with you on, programming or testing. And if you like it, keep it. If you don't, send it back. No harassment. We just want you to have a chance to try things out and have confidence and know that these products are what we say they are. Okay, so really last thing is we have a number of ways for you to stay in touch with us. I would highly recommend going onto our website and submitting your email, and you will then be on our weekly newsletter, and then also LinkedIn and X and Facebook and Instagram. We're constantly posting stuff to those social medias as well. So please do that. That way, everything we're doing week by week. And again, try our test drive program. Other than that, we are done for today. So please keep an eye out for other webinars that we'll be doing on our Icon control system, our USB-C products, our presentation huddle room. We have a Huddle Cam 400 that we didn't talk about today that I think you would find very interesting, along with so many other products that we have. So please come to those classes, and I appreciate everybody's time. Please reach out to us. Let us know what projects you have going on, and how we can help you. And other than that, have a good day, and I'll stay on for questions. Thanks.